Hello everyone and welcome to ChatUTD. Today marks a special day for the channel because it is exactly a year to the day since my very first video, and 95 videos later here we are and still going strong. Just a quick video to mark the anniversary, if you like, or the birthday of the channel. And thinking back, July the 6th 2023, I sat down and spoke for 25 minutes, if I remember rightly, or maybe even longer, about my passion for the club, my hate of the Glazers, and that the channel really was about talking around the Glazers leaving the club and wanting the Glazers to leave. At that point, everything was unclear as to what was going to happen with the ownership. So Sheikh Jassim and his Qatar consortium were very much in the frame to buy the whole club, so we were led to believe. Sir Jim Ratcliffe at that point was kind of like he could potentially have been buying the club, or certainly been buying a majority stake in it, but there was also talk of maybe him doing what he's ended up doing now. There was talk of minority stakes, there was talk of hedge funds, there was talk of the Glazers just staying with nothing. So it was all very much up in the air, and that was enough to talk about 2 or 3 times a week because it consumed me as a United fan. That was my be all and end all. I wasn't interested in transfer rumours or friendlies that we were playing over the summer, or even when the season started, because getting the Glazers out of the club superseded anything else. It was so much more important. In October, we were then told that Sir Jim Ratcliffe was going to buy 25% of the club and take football control, and that was then ratified over Christmas. I think it was late October, early November when I saw my arse and decided I wasn't doing it anymore, and that lasted about 5 days. And in the second half of the season, because the ownership stuff has kind of been cleared up now, I've still spoke quite a bit about it because I still think it's the overriding, most interesting thing that's going on with United at the moment. It's the most important thing. It's so critical to how we move forward. So I still talk about it, and I still try and bring everything back to the bigger picture of the club. But I have started to do match previews, analysis of matches if I've watched those matches, talk about dynamics within the squad, certain players, profiling managers when it looked like Ten Hag wasn't going to continue at United. And I have to say I haven't got loads of viewers. I did want that. I wanted to build a community. I wasn't sure in terms of goals, like how many I was going to get or whatever, but I would say now if I get 20 views on a video, I'm delighted. I thought it'd be more than that, if I'm honest with you, but nonetheless, that is what it is. Not many people comment, not many people like, and I'm not asking for sympathy or that would change. I think I could probably market it a lot better. I could probably produce it a lot better if I could find out how to do those things. But in reality, with the life that I have, in terms of having kids and self-employed, and I run a football team, and I do this as well, it's just not a priority for me to make it slicker or more produced or more well marketed. So it'll be what it'll be, and I get a lot out of it just doing it for myself. And I'd love to have someone on. I think that would be great because there's that to and fro. It's not always easy just to talk, because you don't have that natural back and forth with someone. So that's quite tricky at times. But when I was a kid, I wanted to be a sports journalist, and now we live in a world where you can just start a channel like I've done. So how big it is, in many ways, doesn't really bother me. It's the fact that I can do something I probably would have loved to have, if you'd have told me when I was a kid you're going to get to go on YouTube 2 or 3 times a week talking about Man United, and in the summer England, I'd have snapped your hand off for it. I'd have loved that. I wouldn't even know, of course, what YouTube was back then because it didn't exist, but you know what I mean. Much like when I was a kid and I used to write match reports. I wrote match reports not because loads of people were going to see them, just because I love doing that kind of thing. So that's become this. It's become a hobby, really, and something that I really enjoy. And funnily enough, over the last few weeks, because the Euros have been on, I've deliberately kind of separated myself from looking at United stuff, and it's interesting that on my phone I'm sure everyone will know what I mean. You get like on your drop down, it'll be like suggested articles or suggested YouTube videos, and you just see the thumbnail or the first line of the headline. And there's probably been, I'm not exaggerating to say, there's been 100 suggested articles, YouTube videos, etc., all regarding United being close to agreeing terms with such and such a player or selling such and such a player. And as far as I'm aware, a little over a month before the Community Shield, we haven't bought anyone and we haven't sold anyone. So there's so much saturation out there of United stuff that just isn't real. And you won't find me doing, even if the Euros wasn't on, you won't find me doing videos about rumours of players. There's no point. I've always said, if I see the player stood there with the United shirt and it's confirmed, cool, I'll talk about it. We haven't signed anyone, we haven't sold anyone. And in the summer with the summer that we need to have, that's not good enough. I don't care if the Euros are on. Jared Branthwaite isn't at the Euros. Zerke isn't at the Euros. These players that we're being linked to, some of them anyway, they're not all playing in their international teams. So I think we could be a lot more proactive than we've been. And in terms of what's actually happened over the last few weeks, Erik Ten Hag has signed his bolt-on extension that was there anyway, and he's actually signed it. I think that the scrutiny will continue on him because it's not a long-term contract. It looks, that's a common sense thing to do, but it looks like he's going to continue to be assessed by the new structure. Dan Ashworth has been confirmed and is I believe available to work for United now, which is great. Obviously Barada has started, but it's all a bit late. You know, we needed a summer of revolution, and there's absolutely no chance of doing that. I think, reading between the lines, I think what they're looking to do is change everything around the team, the structure around the team, new coaches, obviously the structure of the recruitment team and all that, which needed to be done. But the coaches, like these two, obviously Van Nistelrooy and the fella that was at Go Ahead Eagles coming in, Ten Hag signing his contract, it's changing everything around the problem rather than the problem itself, and hoping you get more out of the problem, because the problem is too difficult to solve. We've got players on astronomical wages who are so difficult to get rid of, and we probably need to get rid of, I'd say 10, 11 of them. And then of course you've got to buy 7 or 8 players potentially if you get rid of 10 or 11 of them, which was never going to happen, but that's what needed to happen. You need to then get 8 or 9, let's say 7 or 8 in, and then you supplement them maybe with some younger players as well that are coming through our system. And that's too hard when you haven't got the right people through the door. But you know, this was supposed to be a big summer, just like the summer before, and just like the summer before, and the summer before, and it's just all echoes of the same sort of stuff, really. So, in terms of highlights, while I've been doing this whole thing, the FA Cup final day, without a doubt, because of time restrictions that week, I hadn't done a video on Erik Ten Hag potentially leaving. So I did that. Then I did the preview of the FA Cup, and then after the FA Cup, it was one of the first things I did was come up here to the office and did this, did a video, and it was euphoric, of course, because United had won. So that, without a doubt, is the highlight. The low light probably was when it was becoming clear in October that it wasn't going to be a full takeover and that it was going to be Sir Jim Ratcliffe. And no offence to him, it was more just that we needed a full takeover, and I still believe we need a full takeover, and I still believe while the Glazers are still there, they will always hamper United. And make no bones about it, Jim Ratcliffe and the Glazers are in business together, and I don't like that one bit. It's better than it was. If you'd have told me 3 years ago, 2 years ago, that this structure would be in place, I'd be delighted. So it's much better than it was, but they continue to put the brake on anything moving forward because the money isn't there to do what we need to do. The stadium needs to be redone. The squad needs ripping apart and starting again. The infrastructure stuff in terms of personnel and recruitment, people and those key people between the board and the the coaching team and stuff like that. They've done a lot with that, which is really good. And I'm interested to see how it moves forward. Of course, what I'd love nothing more than to be sat here at some point in the future saying, toasting the Premier League champions, Man United. But I don't think that's going to happen within the next 5 years. I'd be stunned. Right now, as I sit here now, I'd be stunned if that happens. But nothing would please me more. And equally, nothing would please me more. Actually, if I'd probably even be even more happy if I was sat here saying the Glazers have left the club entirely, because then I think we will get the other thing. We then will be able to move on and win titles. So, bit different to my first video when I did 29 minutes. I'm only going to do 11 now, but just to touch base and say to the people that do watch and leave comments and like and spend any time engaging in these videos, thank you. And up the Reds, and as always, Glazers out.